I got a new. Okay. All right. I think we're up and running now, finally. But when the electronics don't work the way you want them to, it can really create a lot of stress. And then on top of it, I got the new glasses. I actually made a decision about the glasses.
You got new glasses and a new phone.
I don't yeah. I decided. Yep, I did all of that.
Yeah, I could tell. I could see you were trying to say something, and you realized you shouldn't say it.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, it's like, yeah, we don't need to go there. Anyway, I got caught in Pride Parade yesterday. I had a showing over in Uptown at on Montrose, on Clarendon and Montrose, and it was at 4 o'clock. What time was the parade? I thought the parade was like at noon.
Yeah, but it goes for hours. Yeah.
Well, I think it must have been.
We were there for an hour and a half, but it was only like number 70, entry number 76 out of 199.
What time did you get there?
Before noon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Well, I got down there at the appointment was for 4. It's like not even 10 minutes from where I live to get there. But I allowed time. I figured the agent had a show. I was doing a FaceTime showing with a client that's out of town, and I tagged along on another showing that he had. So I knew he'd be there early, so I had planned to get there early. And well, as it turned out, I was the first one there. I was not early, however, but I ended up parking on Montrose. A space opened up. I think everything was just sort of breaking up at that point, and
probably.
I ended up parking and walking over to the appointment from Sunnyside. It was a couple blocks, but I figured it was quicker to walk than it was to try and get the car in front of the.
I haven't heard any details yet. Did you hear how the turnout was or anything for the parade?
No, I haven't. I don't know. I mean, with the weather,
we're always in just that one spot, so you never know, like what it's like along the whole route and everything for miles. And with the rain bursts and stuff, if it kept people away or ran people off or not, or if it didn't matter to the numbers or whatever. But yeah, you never know.
Well, I imagine that it kept some people away, and that was quite a I don't know, like a squall that came through, like a seiche. It's almost like a seiche or something that came through. I was sitting at the T-Mobile store. I was going to walk over there because it's only 3 or 4 blocks from where I live, and I was going to walk over there, but then you know how it is. I got involved in stuff and it got late. I'm like, oh, I better just drive. Well, I'm really glad that I did. But yeah, I was sitting at the T-Mobile. They kept my phone overnight. I actually went in on Saturday and they were like swamped. And the guy said, rather than sit here and wait for us, why don't you go next door? Potbelly is next door. And we'll just call you when your turn comes up in line.
Yeah.
So we did that. We sat at the Potbelly for about 45 minutes, and then we got in there about 4:30. They were open till 8. Well, finally at 7:30. It's like buying a car now. Getting a phone is like buying a car. And I wanted them to do the stuff because I actually just got my last phone. I looked it up. It was July of 2020, July 8th, almost 3 years to the day that I got my last phone, which was, of course, during lockdown. I got it in the mail, and it took me the better part of the week and spending, sitting on the phone talking to tech support and trying to figure out how to do stuff. So I decided this time I'm just going to let the techies handle it. And I have all this crapola on my old phone that had to be switched. And of course, the other thing is I switched from an Android to an iPhone, and I guess that's a dicey transfer. And so I finally said, you know what? Why don't you guys just keep the phones? They wouldn't let me take my old phone home. I had to leave it because they technically own it now, and so I just let them keep them overnight, and went back Sunday to pick it all up. But he I was hoping to transfer all of my text messages, but he wasn't able to get those transferred. I'm like, you know what? This isn't worth it. I mean, it's supposed to be backed up somewhere in the cloud, but
Mhm.
I couldn't figure out how to get into it and
Mm.
download it. But I'm like, you know what? If it's backed up somewhere in the cloud, it's still there. And if I could probably, if I really need it, I could go back and figure it out. But
Mhm. You
uh,
might check at an Apple store for that.
what's that?
You might check at an Apple store for that, for help with that.
Well, it wouldn't have been backed up though on the Apple cloud.
No, but they would know how to access it if it, yeah, that they would
Oh,
probably know how to
oh,
access it,
well, that's a good point. Yeah.
They deal with that all the time. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
where I would have gone for the phone too, but just because they're, good with that. But and usually available.
Well, yeah, but T-Mobile had this promotion. I basically got the phone.
Apple has all the same promotions through all of the carriers. Yeah.
Oh, they do.
Yeah. They work with all the carriers and have all the same promotions. Yeah.
Because they gave me like $900 back on my old phone.
Yeah. Whatever deals they're offering, the carriers are offering, you
Uh-huh.
still get through the carrier, even if you go to an Apple store. They work with all the carriers just like they're just like you're going into the T-Mobile store or the Verizon store or whatever. They have all the same, access to all the same stuff, but they've got all of the salespeople available that are really good, and basically like the geniuses or whatever that can deal with all that, and that's all they do all day. So
Hmm.
uh,
Hmm.
I know sometimes we dealt with that when we got Stump's aunt's and a new phone, and she was trying to deal with it through like first like consumer cellular and then Verizon, and then finally we're like, we've got to get to the Apple store. And yeah, and they took care of it all, and it was a real mess otherwise, but yeah, they got it all straightened out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'd recommend that. But
Yeah, maybe I will do that and find. I
at
mean,
least worth stopping in and asking them, tell them like what happened, that that they probably know how that's done, whether they can do it themselves or not, I don't know, but they could probably tell you, how a former Android user gets access to, to the texts and messages that are in the cloud.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just kind of. I mean, obviously there's a ton of stuff. I mean, 98% of it is garbage. You know what I mean?
Oh
But
yeah,
but there's still stuff in there that
you might want
particularly
to access sometime.
particularly what.
That you might want to access sometime. Yeah.
Right, 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 right. But so anyway, after an hour or so, I'm like, you know what? Let's not worry about it. But the kid was really good, and he was really nice, and they gave me all of these little, oh, which I'm going to give you.
You have
They're
more junk to give me?
more. I had swag, yeah, swag, but it's really cute. It's like the T-Mobile logo with the pride, with the blocks of color, but almost like what is the thing? The kids that have the tension, that don't interact with people. What do they call that? They have the ribbon with the multicolored.
No, I don't know.
What the hell? What do they call that? Autism. Autism.
Oh,
You
okay.
know, the autism, when the ribbons, they have the little blocks of color. It's almost like those. But I think it was for pride. I think it was a pride thing.
Maybe it was autism pride.
What's that? Yeah.
Maybe it
Well,
was autism.
now that I'm talking about it, now I have to go get it and show you. So talk quietly among yourselves.
Hey, Gumby.
say?
I said, hey to Gumby.
Oh, it definitely is a pride thing because it has the trans thing on it too.
Hmm.
It's cute, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
Nice.
it's like a little.
What is it? What's it on? Is it a mug?
Yeah, it's
Oh, okay. A thermos mug, yeah.
but it's small. It's like for wine I don't know. Yeah, but it's not that big. See,
Yeah.
it's probably holds maybe 8 ounces
It's
top.
perfect for my mom to take out by the pool because she had wine and stuff, but you can't take glass out to the pool. So yeah.
Well, there you go. But the logo is really cute, right?
Yeah, nice.
I didn't even notice the flags, the the trans.
The other stuff.
Yeah.
It's more than trans. There's a whole bunch of stuff in
Well,
there.
whatever you call it, but yeah.
And there's a new one that's got a circle in the pink there too, a purple circle, a ring. The
What
new flag actually has a purple circle, a purple ring in the middle of that pink at the
what is that for?
Who
Who
I had
knows?
to look it up. It's I forgot. Yeah.
Anyway. So yeah. So there it is. Okay, so I got 2 of them. So you're getting 2 of them. Because I
Okay.
don't know what to do with them.
They're cute. They're little. Yeah.
Yeah, they're really cute. And
Like little wine glasses.
he was probably thinking the same thing, like, what the hell am I going to do with these things? Oh, here, I'll just give them,
And Donnie came over, well, night before last, and we were out by the pool and stuff. And that's when my sister came in Saturday night. So he was hanging out with us before she got in, but he brought over stuff that people left at his house that were these like yard flamingos, but for 4th of July, they're white, red, white, and blue flamingos.
Oh, cool.
Stick in the yard. So he brought them because he thought she was having a 4th of July party. She was not. But anyway, she was like, what? But anyway, he brought them all over for her to strap to her balcony or something. I don't know. But
Do you remember when that
I feel
flamingo?
like everybody's dumping all their stuff on us all the time.
Do you remember when the flamingo thing became a thing back in the 90s? It was like this. I think it was like when Miami. Okay, how do I shut this off? How do I deny a
You can just squeeze the button, the power button right there where your index finger is. Just turn it off. Just hit the button.
Oh, okay. Somebody from India is calling me.
Nice.
Wonder what that's about.
Is that your Indian boyfriend?
Yeah, right.
Did you meet somebody when you were in England?
No. I didn't even have to really think about that.
Lots of Indians there.
Oh yeah, but I have to tell you, they are. I mean, yeah, they kind of fill all the service roles, I would say, and really, really lovely.
Yeah.
Um,
Good food.
but
England needs that.
I mean, but they were so kind and generous and warm, and
Yeah.
their service was lovely. So.
Yeah, my Indian family clients here are over in London right now with family, but they have like all my Indian friends here have like dozens of cousins and relatives in England, particularly London area. Yeah.
What was that movie about the guy that wasn't it an Indian guy that? Oh, it was a movie where he learned all the Beatles songs or something, and then
Yeah.
there was some sort of a weird where nobody remembered who the Beatles were except for him.
Yeah.
Remember that movie? What was that movie?
It's the name of the song. I can't remember the name of the Beatles song.
Oh, yeah. Anyway. And then he finds one other guy on the planet. And he becomes a huge rock star because he's singing all the Beatles songs and nobody remembers who the Beatles were, and he becomes a huge rock star. And then there's a fella in the audience that comes backstage and he's like the only other person on the planet that remembers the Beatles.
Yeah.
And the Beatles, and he actually at the end ends up meeting which one is it? Um, who is living like in like in an isolated cabin out at, on Land's End or something like that on the beach or something. Anyway, it's a very weird movie.
Paul, was it Paul the?
Yeah, wasn't it Paul?
Was it, because he's the living one now? I don't know if in that story if it was the same.
Yeah, I don't remember, but anyway.
Yeah.
Actually,
if you've ever saw this, but it just reminded me, like, so Paul did one of the, I think it was the James Corden does the what's it called, like where they do the car karaoke or whatever, and like when he's driving around and they do the karaoke, he did it with Paul McCartney, but they did it, I think that's what it was, but they did it in London. I didn't see the recording of that, but they had Paul McCartney on an episode of Smartless, on the podcast with Smartless, and they told this story about when he did that, and they were in London and they drove to Paul's childhood home, which is now like a
museum or something.
Yeah. And so they drove up to it and they were sitting outside, and Paul was telling them about it, and I guess they had the windows down, and somebody walked up with their, like, walking their dog, and it's like, yep, that was it, this was his house. And he's like in the car. Anyway, they decide to go in, and they I think it was James who talks him into going in. He literally hasn't been in the house since he was a kid. And anyway, they go in the house while there's like a a docent. When you go in, there's like a museum docent, this elderly woman that like takes tickets and stuff. And so they said hi to her, and then she was like, okay, that's £4 each or whatever. And he was like, oh, it's my house. And she's like, yes, £4 or whatever it was. They had to pay her to go through
his own house.
But there was some great stories about how everything happened with the neighbors and with her and all that. It's really funny. But he told the story again on how that all happened on the Smartless episode. It was really good.
Huh. I've been thinking a lot about Michelle, because I've been spending a lot of time in South Shore with some buyers, and I don't know why.
You've been hanging out with Michelle Obama, is that what you're saying?
Right. I was going to say she's kept her house, and I don't know.
Her childhood, when you mean?
Yeah, her childhood home where she grew up, she's kept it, and as far as I know, she has. And I think they actually have like a security guard or so. Well, probably not anymore, but when he was in office, of course, they had security guards.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what she's going to do with it, but she's kept it for sentimental reasons.
Yeah.
It'll probably be the same thing. She'll probably turn it into a museum or something.
I had that Frank Lloyd Wright listing down in Kenwood, and we were doing a photo shoot beforehand, and they did a drone footage too.
Oh, right. Oh yeah.
He kept sending the drone up, and he's like, I don't know what's happening. There's something wrong with the drone. And he was only getting the front of the house and not the back of the house or something. And it kept going, and then finally figured out it was
too close to the Obama.
It was geo fenced off, because of the Obama's house was like a couple of blocks over, and it was geo fenced, and it wouldn't let the drone go past the side of the house. So we only drone from the front and the other side, but couldn't get to the back of the house because of the geofencing. Yeah.
Isn't that interesting that they have that technology and ability to do that?
Sure, yeah. Yeah, and I guess, anything like that's like got to be FCC approved, so it has to meet all of the guidelines. So it has to have the technology in it that recognizes the geofencing and all of that. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. So he's like, there's something wrong with the drone. Yeah. And then he was like, there's some sort of, I don't think he realized there was a geofence, but didn't know what it's for. And I was like, well, the Obama's house is just like the next block over, and you went up or whatever. You say, yeah, that's it. So then we found out later that was definitely it.
Yeah, they were like right on the corner of, or right off the corner. Were they right on the corner of that house? Is it right on the corner? Is it um of like 48th and hmm, I can't remember. What was the address of the house you had? Anyway,
It was on Woodlawn, I think, and I think they were the next street over, and then like up like a block or block. And a
yeah,
half.
they're right on the corner of 48th, I think. So yeah,
Yeah.
probably not even a block.
Yeah, mine was at like 50th and Woodlawn. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Anyway, actually, I saw a thing in the paper yesterday. This really surprised me, that we're coming up on the 100th anniversary of Route 66.
No.
It's going to be in 2026. They're revving up for it. And still, there's like a little over 85% of the original highway is still intact. But the government decommissioned it as the official Route 66 in 1985. And this fellow wrote a book in 1990 because he could see that it was starting to, because basically it got taken over by the interstate system. I think,
Right.
all the interstate. And you probably didn't realize this, but Tulsa is considered to be the capital of Route 66. Did you know that?
Yeah, we got all the monuments for it and everything.
Anyway, they're doing the state of Illinois has given all the towns that it goes through, not all of them, but is offering them grants as a way to promote the tourism.
Mhm.
And down where it starts at the corner of Wabash and Wabash and why am I drawing a blank? Adams. I was just there on Friday. Wabash and Adams is where it begins, of course. And
What? No, why Wabash and Adams? I don't know that.
what? There's a plaque there that says this is the start of Route 66.
Because there's a plaque there. Okay. But I mean, all those buildings were there. Well, I think most of them were all there 100. I'm just wondering what was there, why that's the start. I mean, it wasn't like a highway there. It was city streets, and it like why
Well,
Wabash?
that's what it was. Route 60. I mean, that's the whole point. Route 66 was not highway, right?
I know, but that wasn't even Adams. Isn't even Madison or Roosevelt. I mean, it's not even one of the main thoroughfares. You know what I mean? I'm just wondering why. And Wabash isn't State Street or LaSalle or. I'm just wondering like why.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but I don't know. I don't know why, but that's where it starts. It's right in the corner of Orchestra Hall. Well,
it's not even Michigan Avenue. It's one block off Michigan. That's really weird. Yeah.
Yeah. It's right there in the corner of because we
think
go
if anything, it would
when
start
we
at
go
Michigan.
to what?
You think if anything, you'd think it would start at Michigan, like at the furthest.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe I don't know. I don't know why they put I don't know. Maybe it did originally, but anyway, that's where the plaque is at the corner is on the corner of Wabash and Adams by Symphony Center. We go by it all the time because going to Orchestra Hall.
I've never seen it. Yeah, I didn't know that.
But you will like this. They are putting a QR code that you can scan, and it will have all of the places along the route in Illinois where you can get your electrical vehicle charged.
Oh, interesting. That's
right.
Cool.
Yeah, it's kind of like, wait a minute.
Really good.
Yeah, but it was really so we got a couple years. It's 2026, but I was surprised that it's that old of a highway. I mean, but apparently John Steinbeck references it in The Grapes of Wrath. Mm-hmm. And it was a thoroughfare that they all took to go out to
California,
because the Dust Bowl and the Great Depression to go to California. That's how they took Route 66. They call it the Mother Road.
Yeah.
Who knew?
It's also there's a lot of like when the big food hall is the Mother Road Food Hall, and there's a lot of like Mother Road stuff and 66 stuff and Phillips 66 and all of that is all there too. So yeah, it's Bartlesville outside of Tulsa along the route is where Phillips 66 is.
Well, this guy that wrote the book in 1990 said if we don't make a concerted effort to keep the heritage, it'll disappear. And in fact, that's kind of what happened when they decommissioned it as a federal highway. A lot of the little towns that were there specifically to deal with the travelers and the tourists, they all just kind of died and withered away. So that as a result of that, like 10-15% of the highway is gone because the towns are gone.
Yeah. But that's progress.
That's progress.
Yeah. I mean, I love the idea of the whole Route 66 and the mother of the stuff, but then again, it's like, if that history did die off, I'm kind of like, so what?
Right, yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
Is it any more important than anything else? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So we're making new history. But, I guess when I think of Route 66, of course, that's when it became popular post World War II, and everybody had cars, and, they were taking road trips, etc. But if you had asked me, I would have said that it was probably became a highway like sometime in the 40s, or, I never would have guessed 1926, right? I mean, would you have guessed that?
No, I think I knew that it was coming up on 100 for a while now, but I never really did the math.
About it, yeah. And I guess the other one is Highway 20. Of course, Highway 20 goes coast to coast, starts in Boston.
You mean like,
Highway 20.
Yeah, I don't know it.
It goes through Rockford and Freeport out to Galena. Haven't you ever taken?
I've been to Galena, but I don't know anything about a history of
Highway 20.
But we'll have to talk about that one on the next episode because I've got to go.
Right. We'll talk about that anyway. All right. Well, wait a minute. So next week,
Highway 20. No, the week after next. Next week.
The week after next, we're going to be gone because of the 4th. I'll be gone.
I'll be about Highway 20. Do your homework.
Good holiday, everybody. Stay safe.
All right. Bye.
Bye.